Thank you, Lindsay. Can you just hear me correctly?
Yeah.
Okay, and you can see my screen. Okay, perfect. So this year I was teaching a course on the human and political dimension on environmental change. And basically the main, I had a few objectives I wanted to achieve in this course. So first of all, I wanted to find a method of assessment that would allow them to apply the theoretical concept that I was going to teach them in class. And secondly, I wanted to move out of my comfort zone and completely pivot to active learning this year. And also, I wanted to have a assessment strategy that would involve critical thinking. And finally, because most students told me, oh, I'm just concerned about online learning because I'm missing the opportunity to interact with other students and also professors. So I wanted to find an activity that is engaging and gives them an opportunity for networking. And also part of the objective of the goal was to get how tough it is to come up with a climate policy. And this is not something that is taught in textbook. You need to experience it. And because I wanted to have that objective and build up a classroom community, I had to think outside of the box. And I came up with a role play on a climate negotiation. And basically, during that role play, the main goal was, okay, each student was going to be assigned a country. And basically, the end goal, okay, who gives how much to who and why? So basically, rich countries are going to give developing countries money to as a trade-off for their emissions. And basically, in total, they would have to spend a total of like 5 billions. They need to tell me, okay, who gives how much to who and why, justify. And basically, the role play, I subdivided into like 5 different steps. So the first one, I'm basically asking them prior to starting the role play, I'm giving them guidelines. This is the goal of the assignment. I'm giving them extra data on each country on top of what was taught in class, so they know a little bit what the country they're going to represent, some of the key data they would need in order to get a good deal for the country they're going to represent. So they have something to work with to begin with. And also I give them a code of conduct so that they know how to behave, and also to stimulate engagement and ensure inclusiveness and equity. So basically, I just told him, okay, just do a round table. Each person who represents each country just gives your argument, then start the discussion. And then basically you have 5 to 6 students who represent one country, who were ambassador, and one person who was the chair, who was mediating the meeting. And basically to make sure it was fair and well organized, I gave him a poll. After I gave him again a poll, fill out the poll and ask a few questions. And basically I asked them, do you prefer to be ambassador? And if so, which country do you want to represent? Or do you prefer to be the chair? Also, are you working? Are you abroad? Are you on the same time zone? And basically I was just trying to accommodate time and preferences. And based on that, I gave them a role attribution so they knew upfront what they had to do. And I gave them a playing card so they know exactly, okay, they have additional information. For example, oh, you represent the United States. So basically your main rival is China. And also you represent an ambassador, you're the climate ambassador. So basically you plan to run next election. So you want to show a strong showing. So basically on top of the didactical aspect, I'm adding a ludic element so that they can enjoy themselves during the role play. And before they get into the debate, I'm asking them to do a pre-debate report in 1 page. And basically, I'm asking them to describe what is their entry strategy going into the game. I don't want them to say, oh, okay, what do we do here? So they come prepared. So if you are the chair, I'm asking what are the 2 obstacles you might encounter during the game, and then 2 solutions you can bring up. And if you're an ambassador for a country, what are the 2 weaknesses and 2 advantages you can bring forward to get a good deal for your country? And there comes the role play per se in breakout rooms in Zoom. And basically they had time during class, so everybody had the same time they could work on for everybody. And also for people who were on a different time zone or who had like other obligations, I gave them the opportunity to work asynchronously. And basically, I was staying in the main room to make sure everybody was going to their breakout room and everything was just working fine. And the step 4, they had to produce a group report, which was a summary of what they did for the assignment. So basically, most groups spend 1, 2, maybe like 3 hours in total doing this. And basically, in the group report, they had to, it was very short, they have to give me, okay, the breakdown of the who gives how much to who and why. And also sometimes justification, why was this allocated this way? And also, did you give any country conditions? Or for example, in order for this country to keep receiving the funds, they have to prove they have made these and these efforts. And then the conditions go back to the course content and also to their imagination. So there was like no right way of doing this. And after, to give a critical thinking aspect of this, I asked them to do an individual report using the ICE approach. So the ICE approach, to sum it up in like 20 seconds, basically you need to come up with ideas which are basically things you would find in the course material. In that case, I'm asking, okay, what are the 2 obstacles you encountered in the role play, which is a game? And a connection would be to make relationships between different ideas. And I ask them, can you relate the 2 obstacles you encountered during the game with real life climate negotiation at the international level? And the extension will be to extrapolate or add something new to it. As I'm going to quote the ice queen, this is the waha of learning. So basically, in the extrapolation extension, I ask them, how is it different or similar to a real life climate negotiation? So I had all of this. So I had engagement and also critical thinking and relevant application to the course material. And it was really an assignment step by step. So this is why it was fairly engaging, because I broke down the content for greater engagement, but also it cuts down the cognitive load, and also it favors the learning process. Another reason why this was engaging, because I gave them a playing card before the role play, so they know exactly what they had to do, but also I added some ludic element. Or for example, this person should be your ally, so if you have difficulty negotiating, this person should probably help you out, and this person you're going to get trouble because they're going to attack you on this and that. And then they had to play a role, for example, oh, you're the ex-president of this country, or oh, you are an ex-prime minister and you hope to run for next election, you need to show a strong showing. And on top of that, it wasn't really a jigsaw activity per se, because in a jigsaw activity, each person needs to bring something and then you need to piece it out to get something. But it was a jigsaw-like activity because they were each assigned a role to play. They all know what they were supposed to do, and also there was that ludic aspect that came into it. And because we were prepared, it was, I think, efficient. And I mean, they all told me I really liked doing the role play. Another reason why this was engaging, because I gave them flexibility. So first of all, I gave them the choice of the role. Do you want to be a chairperson, or do you want to be an ambassador? And also I give them the option in the poll I sent them before the game. Are there any students in the course you want to work with, so they would feel like they're not really completely alone? And finally, I gave them time flexibility, because some people are on another time zone, they have work obligation, or sometimes it just worked better for them this way. So I had 1 or 2 groups sometimes that was working asynchronously. So it gives them flexibility, and the more flexible we are with people, the more efficient you become. Technology was a good ally, because I could use stuff like breakout rooms, Google Docs, share screen, and also the options of renaming themselves. So this game and the technology allowed this game to be played remotely. And another reason why this was engaging and it was well liked by students is that this assignment balanced both teamwork and individual work, because before the debate, you had to do your own report, and after that, you have to do your own report. But the main report was a group effort. So in a sense, it is inclusive because you accommodate different learning styles. Some people prefer to work alone. Some people prefer to work in groups. And even if you don't like to work in groups, this is a skill you need to learn for the future. So it's not something I usually did, assign group work, but in this case, I said, you need to work in group and you cannot negotiate on your own. You need to experience this. So it was really great from a learning objective perspective, and also from an active learning perspective, because I had some students who told me, oh, it was great because this person suggested this, and we couldn't think about that by ourselves. So it was really a great contribution. And also some of them told me, oh, during the pandemic, it gave us an opportunity to connect. So it was really great. It did us a lot of good. So I really got spontaneous positive feedback from students. So to kind of conclude this rapidly, it was a multi-step process, but I think was efficient. And also it had a ludic aspect that made it more engaging. And I really think it stimulated student engagement and in some way contributed to alleviate the isolation that emerged from the remote teaching. And it allowed to strengthen the classroom community at the distance, but also because I had this ICE approach, which was on every assignment and it's going to stay in my teaching, I was able to develop a higher order thinking and make the assessment really powerful. So thank you for your attention, and thank you for CTL for giving me the opportunity to present my teaching innovation this term.